us like Upwork to find people who can freelance for us for maybe a one-off opportunity or job or task. So if you're having a hard time finding quality, emphasis on quality, because Upwork has like a ratings and reviews system, which is T, by the way. Because I want to know what people are saying about your work ethic, consistency, and like we're all looking for different things. So if you're starting a business and don't know where to start, or you already are in the thick of it and you're having a really, really hard time, same girl, same, finding quality freelance talent, I would absolutely suggest Upwork.
All right, come on. Let's get it. As one Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking in for a daily Move Swiftly thought, giving you a perspective on teamwork that you will not get anywhere else, where we do not teach you how to rise to the occasion, teach you how to fall to your level of preparation. Continuing on, how do you invest in you? All the ways in which you invest in you, the best ways, I should say. Top 5 Tuesday. Forgive me if I'm a little off right now. Just knocked out a 10-mile run, a solid 10-mile run, which I absolutely took off. It felt great. You could tell body is just in tip-top shape, because you'll normally see me. There have been times the past couple of weeks where I knock out this 10 miles and I'd have to sit down somewhere, but I'm standing up, ready to roll. The plan is still to do a full marathon at some point. Not sure when, but at some point it will happen. All right, so all that being said, Top 5 Tuesday, top 5 ways to reinvest in yourself. Again, all week we're going to be discussing. Last week we started with, do you invest in you? Today, we're counting down the top 5 ways to make sure you're on the trajectory towards doing that. Meaning everything you do, every cent you make is being reinvested in yourself, your goals, your aspirations, your dreams, and the places where you want to be. Very first thing you need to do, number 1, is you got to know your end game. Got to know your end game. How is it that you want it to end? Begin with the end in mind. Begin with a concept that can be sold to somebody. Again, we'll dive into all 5 of these points later on in the live stream, about 30 to 40 minutes from this recording. All right. That's number 1. Know your end game. Number 2, establish a regular income. All right. That could be through a job. That could be through subscriptions. That could be through sales. Whatever it is, there needs to be a regular income that's coming in. Doesn't really matter how much per se, as long as you're, utilizing it in the right way, but it's always about a regular income. Number 2, something I, to this day, needed to do a better job in is following up. You got to follow up with the people that you connect with, or create some sort of a follow-up system, or put people around you that are good at following up, and that can teach you the best ways to follow up, who to follow up with. Again, someone like me who's, had hundreds of people on this platform, met hundreds and thousands of people. It's impossible for one individual just follow up with everyone, which is why, again, I try to put the people around, do the things that reach out to people in, whether it's social media, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, whatever, try to do things that are going to make it so I'm still accessible, because I know I can't follow up with every single individual. All right. So that's number 3. Number 4, kind of in a similar fashion, is you got to learn how to say no to certain things. When people meet you, there's ambition, there's an understanding that you're going to reinvest in yourself regardless, and you're going to try to do whatever it is you need to get done, regardless of the circumstance. So you got to learn to say no to certain things that would be good for you, to sacrifice for the things that are going to be great for you. Say no to good, say yes to great. Say no to good now, so you can say yes to great later. All right. And finally, you got to stay up on current events. You got to stay up on current events and put the information out now. If it's a current event that you are like dying and burning to talk about, you can't wait. That used to be my problem as well. I used to wait for months after whatever current event came out, and then, some podcast episode later, then I talk about it. But if a current event happens, if something happens now, I'll give you an example. Tomorrow, I'll be talking about the little testy situation between Ryan Clark and the individual who he had a testy situation with on ESPN, about who played the game, and you got to field the game and all that kind of stuff. Again, that stuff has to be happening. It has to be coming out right now, not later. Now, all right. So just to recap, top 5 ways to reinvest in you. Number 1, you got to know your end game. Number 2, a regular income. Number 3, you got to learn how to follow up with people. Number 4, you got to learn how to say no. Learn how to say no to folks. Learn how to say no to certain opportunities. And number 5, you got to stay up on current events that are going to be relevant to your business. All right. Like I said, we'll dive deeper into all of this in the live stream. So make sure you comment, like, subscribe, share this out. Main website to check out to dive deeper into all the work I do. It's makeyourmove.com. That's MakeYamove.com. One-stop shop for your teamwork and your self-development needs. as one Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker checking out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon. All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever time of day you are consuming this. Great to have you. As you just heard, my name is As One Crookshank. I'm your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, former Division I college football player and current 5-time, very soon to be 6-time published author and educator. Created this whole brand, this whole business, this whole concept that's all about taking the innovative teamwork lessons that you learn on the football field and applying them to businesses and business owners so they have a staff and or a group of employees that moves as efficiently, as coherently, has the same structure, has the same mentality of a championship high school or youth football team. That is what that plus LY stands for. That's what the whole Move Swiftly is all about. That is what we are built on, is building those things on a regular basis. And as you can see, or as you just heard, today we are breaking down the top 5 ways to consistently reinvest in yourself, to always be reinvesting in you. The question yesterday is what we're going to be discussing all week. All right, I had one hell of a week. It was one hell of a past week in terms of the reward in which you get when you do invest in yourself. Now, again, like you just heard in the video, it's going to take some sacrificing of good, like temporary good situations. You hear people say it all the time. You know, temporarily, I'm in a good situation. We're going to take away this concept of being in a good temporary situation, sacrificing good currently so we can actually say yes to great later. Right? There's a difference. There's a lot of pressure that goes into this idea of being good. All right, you always hear people say it's kind of a common phrase. Hey, how you doing, man? I'm good. All right, I'm good. No, we're not doing good. We're going to stay away from good now. We're going to stay away from saying good now so we can say yes to great later. And that's the process of reinvesting in yourself. When you're reinvesting in yourself, then you're always thinking about the great things to come. All right, so all that being said, let me just get through a few announcements here, and then we'll get right into the article. As we always do, consistency is the name of the game over here in the Move Swiftly world. All right. So first and foremost, if you have not yet, business owners, go to freeguide.makeyourmove.com. It is a very, very simple formula that we work from around here. Number 1 is establishing measurables. Number two, we're creating a professional distance. Number 3, those 3, actually not number 3 necessarily, but those 2 things between establishing measurables and creating a professional distance, those are the only 2 ways in which you're going to have a productive environment in your place of business, in your home, in your relationships, whatever it is you're looking to build and you're passionate about. It's the measurables and it's the professional distance that needs to be established. If it is not established, then the passion and emotion and feelings and all sorts of things start to get in the way of your success. Measurables, distance, professional distance, right? Measurables and a professional distance. There's no other blueprint, all right? If you want a productive environment, you got to have those boundaries, all right? So I created a very easy to understand 10-step guide on how to start doing that. Now, it's not going to solve all your problems, but it's at least going to get you thinking as a business owner in the right direction, all right? All that being said, if you are that person who is listening to me now, you're a business owner, and you're like, look, I just want bump all this free stuff you're talking about. Who do I have to pay? Who exactly is the person? How exactly do I pay someone to get your mindset? I want your mindset planted in my staff. I want your strategy. I want your system. I want what you have built over the past couple of years. I want that to be established within my organization. You are our favorite folks to work with around here. All right, just simply go to makeyourmove.com. That's MAKEYAMOVE.com. You can book me to speak. You can learn more about me. Again, the Shop Now tab has all my books, my current books right now. To talk more about the Move Swiftly workshop and how that would work. We also offer boxing lessons as well. And again, to do the best research on me, just hit the Innovative Teamwork tab. And in terms of the result that you'll be getting as a business owner, what you will be getting, let's make sure. Yes, the result that you're going to get as a business owner, it is right here. I'll read it to you directly. Turn your business into a championship team. It is common knowledge that the best way to win in business or in life is by avoiding ways to lose. Whether you've just started a new business or you've been in business for quite some time, there's no getting around the need to hire or outsource certain elements of your organization so things can run as efficiently as possible. When you book your meeting with Aswan, he'll diagnose what the issues are with your current system and then strategically create a system in which will lead to a reduced amount of turnover or a clear understanding of the parts of your business that need to be outsourced. All right, let's jump into it. So, top 5, as we always do around here in the Move Swiftly world, top 5 Tuesday, top 5 Tuesday. How to reinvest, how to make sure we're reinvesting in ourselves. All right, so a lot of you guys, if you're a regular consumer or if you're in business in general, you have heard of the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. All right, Rich Dad Poor Dad is easily, aside from my own books, it's a book that I get to mention on this channel quite frequently around here in a very short way of explaining it. It's by Robert Kiyosaki, real estate mogul, really famous in the business world. And he talks about the thing that I take away from it, and every time I have this conversation about Rich Dad Poor Dad, is he breaks down the concept of flipping your money, whatever money you're making, and turning it into something that's going to be an asset. All right. He breaks down the concept of assets versus liabilities. Always, always, always putting every single dime, every single cent, every single penny into assets, something that appreciates, money that makes money. All right. You put your money in something that is going to make more money for you. Assets, assets, assets. The foundation of the whole Move Swiftly system is generated from that idea of reinvesting in assets. However, now the question has to become, what is an asset? All right, that's something that you have to go out and live. Like, you have to go out and work. You have to go out and live a life. You have to go out into the world, meet people, and see what sticks, what works. What is the thing that is getting people generated into your brand? What is the thing that's bringing people into your organization, that's bringing people into your world? What is it? For me personally, again, I'll tell you now, we'll get into it as I get into my points here. For me, it is this idea, these psychotic, just people who are so immersed in the game of college football, and they love it to the point where it's built their lives, built their identity from a standpoint of, whether it's business, whether it's just teaching their kids how to operate as human beings, the whole, and I'm using college football because that's the highest level I played, and the system and the business that we're built around here is about that. But the truth is, the people that are truly attracted to my world are the ones who are really, really passionate about raising and teaching young people how to do things the right way. And sports just happens to be the greatest teacher, the greatest tool towards doing that. All right. So assets for me will be like what you see right there on the screen, running in 10Ks, running in 5Ks, training for marathons, training with people that are out there, still doesn't matter what age they are, they're out there working out with their kids and they're running with them and they're being very active in terms of just athletics and performance and sports and stuff like that. They never, ever, doesn't matter whether you're competing for a national championship or you're just trying to, make a 5K without stopping, right? Or walk a 5K. I mean, there was times where I remember, man, a couple of years, there'd be times where I'd be running 10Ks and 5Ks every single weekend. And me, I run every morning. So it's nothing for me to run 6 miles. It's not, I just ran 10 miles this morning. It's really not a big deal. But I remember seeing people who, were overweight and they made a 5K and they're getting emotional just because, like, you could see that just making that 5K, making that 3 miles for them was something that was a big deal. And I appreciated people like that so much because that right there was them reinvesting in themselves. They cut out the whatever they were doing before. They're working out now. They're eating right. They're getting a healthy amount of sleep. They're getting water. They're putting the right things in their body. All of that is about reinvesting in you. All right. So we're going to break down all the top 5 ways. And there's a systematic way of doing this. There's a structure in place that you can put in place to make sure you're doing it the right way. And it's fuzzy because of what I'm learning personally is everybody wasn't raised in the structured environment that I was in. See, I was blessed. I was blessed because I had a mother who worked her way up in the transportation industry from driving ride-on buses, only has an associate's degree, yet is one of the smartest people I know from an associate's degree. And, now she's running transportation at the post office where she's, organizing certain things for drivers. And, she was able to take the money, like take the hustle
element to it, to the where, again, only an associate's degree. I was able to hustle that associate's degree to go get a CDL license and turn that into something, and then boom, and work that. And then my father has run his own business since before I even got to high school. He's been a small business owner since I was in high school. He did his own taxes. He ran his own architectural company. The thing is, the big thing about my father is that he ran a architectural company. So, when it comes to architecture, it's a kind of the first cousin of engineering and math, and knowing the right angles and knowing how to put this there, and what weight something is going to be. There's a huge amount of math and technical skill set that he has. So there was a structure in place with him. And then with my sister, she's her first job was at a daycare, an after school daycare, a lot like the school I teach at now. When very much it was at my elementary school. She used me as a reference actually to get the job as the daycare. So I was raised in a structured environment where everything was about reinvesting in yourself. And it has gotten me in trouble. It really has gotten me in trouble in many ways, because things where you get the outside world looking at it like, I would tell you I don't need this really, and I really wouldn't, but then they're like, hey, yeah, but you do need, and it's because of just two people that weren't raised in the same environments. And that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of life, to be honest with you, is getting to know other people and figuring out how they were raised and figuring out if the puzzle pieces fit and how this matches. It's such a beautiful, beautiful thing, but you have to participate in it, right? And there's a system. And again, you're not going to meet anyone better than me to tell you all about it. So it's enough intro for now. Let's just jump right into the article and dive right in. All right. So here we go. Top 5 Tuesday, top 5 ways to invest in you. And by the way, that was a run I did, I think 2 years ago now, a run for Wendy. It's a 10K where I did win my age. So this girl right here is the only, I was like 5th or 6th overall. I remember, because I remember her at the end. She was this guy won it. And then I think he was 3rd. There was another kid that won, was the top 3 just the overall race, but I did win my age group, so I got the podium pick. I remember those shorts. Those shorts are no longer, and those shoes, yeah. Oh man, good times. Run for Wendy, man. So Wendy's from the DMV, and she tragically was. Because I think the story is, I'm probably gonna look it up real quick, probably before we start. I'm gonna run for Wendy. Hold up, real quick. Yes, run for Wendy. Wendy Martinez. Yeah, Wendy Martinez. Unfortunately, let me real quick. Wendy's story. Born in Nicaragua, Palm Beach. She lived. Proud Latina. Yep. She loved the beach, solace. You got to. And then that was because she went to Georgetown, was doing really incredibly well, doing a lot of things for Latin America, for the Latina. Yep, thrived in international affairs, was doing some incredible things. And what happened, I believe she was like, I want to make sure I get it right. I want to, but it was the Legacy Project. Yes, this was it. Lost sense of active life. She went out on a run. She was training right for the Boston Marathon and returned. Plans, Christina. Went to a wedding dress shop in that week. Wedding store ended steps from Logan Circle. Yeah, yeah, every time I read it, it just was one of those things where, again, it's tough to put it into words just how sad it is that someone that was doing such a productive thing and was such a productive member of society loses her life through senseless stuff like this. So, these are the reasons that 5Ks and 10Ks and going to races, as you can see, here's the image of me and all that, but it really isn't about me per se. It really is about the legacy of what 5Ks and 10Ks and what these things are all about. So that's why these races and being a part of these races is something that is so important, that you stay up with and stay involved in. And that's why we do it, man. That's why we do it. So all that being said, let's jump back into the article. So, and again, why it's so important to constantly reinvest in yourself. So very first thing that you need to know, I'm gonna read the article directly. All right, so let's speak, and it leads right into a perfect lead in. All right, so way too many links open right now. All right, so let's be clear from jump. When I say invest in yourself, it's not just about money. Sure, financial investment is a part of it, but your time, energy, passion, and focus are often more important than your wallet. This week on the Move Swiftly platform, we're diving into a theme that every go-getter, leader, coach, student, or entrepreneur needs to reflect on. What does it really look like to invest in you? Every Tuesday, we drop a top 5 list that aligns with the weekly Make Your Move theme. We've been at it consistently for nearly 2 years. And this week, I'm laying out the 5 ways I've personally learned, sometimes the hard way, to reinvest in myself, and why it's crucial to your long-term success. Let's get it. Very first thing you need to know your end game. Know how you want it to end. Know what you can sell. Know somebody came to you today, right now. What are the parameters? What is it going to look like? Know your end game is absolutely crucial, right? You've heard the phrase, begin with an end in mind. And I'll double down on it, because if you don't know your finish line, you won't know how to spend your energy wisely. Here's the principle. Here's a practical example. I've owned a Toyota. Yes, perfect example. I've owned a Toyota for nearly a decade. All right, month after month, I put a little bit into a Toyota branded credit card. That money added up over time, and when it came time to upgrade my vehicle, I didn't have to stress. That was a planned investment. I wrote about it here. If you go back and look at the article I wrote, it's titled "Sales and Experience of Brand Loyalty." I wrote that article this past December. I wrote an article about it. So I wrote an article about it this past December, last December, right? Again, just look up sales and experience and brand loyalty. So the moral of the story: build safety nets around your goals. Guard your investments by staying aligned with your destination. On that note, real quick, literally after this, I've had some issues with my front right tire, but still, and God forbid, let's hope nothing too serious is with it. Normally I just put some air in it. Excuse me, and it's been fine. But if something were to be bad and I needed to replace a tire, whatever, I'm always putting money on my Toyota credit card to where I would not make just a little bit every month, to where I wouldn't even have to spend my own money and get a new tire, because again, there's a Toyota credit card that's built in for all of the repairs. And now I know this because I know myself. I know I'm not a handyman. I know I'm not the person that goes out and fixes cars and all that kind of stuff. That's not an issue that I want to come up. So I prepare myself by putting a little something on my Toyota credit card every single month, just in case. Again, knock on wood, that nothing too serious is wrong with it, but just in case something goes wrong and I need to take it to the dealership and then they fix it, boom. And I remember actually when I bought my Corolla 3 or 4 years ago now, and the Corolla, like the next day, I had to go and change the tire because, the tire got a nail in it, so I had to go change the tire. I took it to the Toyota dealership, and the thing about the Toyota dealership, what they told me is like, look, we don't sell used tires here. Right? We make sure everything we do is brand new, so you wouldn't have to worry about, if the used tire messes up or anything like that. So all of that goes into you have to have an end game in mind. All right. So it's number one. Number two, establish a regular income. This one, again, I had to learn this one the hard way. Really, really had to learn this one the hard way from my perspective, because my ambition and my goals and the things that I wanted to do, they were absolutely huge and unrealistic things that I didn't know were unrealistic things because of how I grew up and what I actually saw at the home. So I'm not here to tell you to chase the highest salary or the sexiest side hustle. That's not what I'm telling you. All right. Regular income, however you define it, builds confidence, structure, and the ability to reinvest. Whether it is a steady job, a monthly subscription model, membership-based revenue, or even a merch and content support streams, the key is consistency. income that you can count on gives you the freedom to play offense with your goals. For more on this, check out the episode titled check out the episode on the Move Swiftly podcast titled Responsible Spending. All right, we're going to get to that in a second. Yeah, we can get to that in the next point. But I want to talk a little bit about the regular income, establishing a regular income really, really quick. All right. The key word in all of this is consistency and playing offense. All right. Now, if you don't know what I mean when I say play offense, offense is you actually going and trying to score the touchdown. All right. You're not just playing defense and preventing someone to score a touchdown. Playing offense is you taking whatever you have, you know the play, you know the design, you know the snap count, you know the routes, you know whatever your line's supposed to be doing, you know where your running back's supposed to be, you know where everybody's supposed to be, and you know what money is coming in, what the number is coming in. So you have to play offense with that cash that's coming in and say, yo, this has to go here. 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 If I want X, Y, and Z in the future, all right? That's why number 2 is establish regular income. Doesn't necessarily matter how much, all right? It's going to be based on you and what your goals are going to be in your lifestyle in terms of how much, but it has to be regular. It has to be regular. So do what you need to do to make it so it's regular. Again, I myself, I don't tell you stuff that I haven't lived through myself. Me personally, when I got to South Florida, I had to make it work. I had to make it work. Let me tell you, I had to make it work off 2 part-time jobs. All right, I was a trainer at 9 Round. That was a part-time job, and I was a seller for the Miami Dolphins Foundation. 2 part-time jobs in South Florida, having a beat up old Mercedes-Benz, nowhere to actually stay, and I had to actually make the shit work. So live nightclub and clubbing it up and partying, popping bottles and all that bullshit that you would think Miami's all about. Had to cut that bullshit out if I wanted to actually make it through the day. And I'm so thankful that I had the structure in the home to learn from that to learn how to survive off that, because it was constant conversations with my mother, constant dialogue with her, and just thinking of things that I thought growing up, the things that I saw my father have to do growing up. All of those things started to play as I was living. Literally, it was a dream to be working at a gym, learning how to develop as a boxer, and be working for a professional NFL team. That was my dream from day one. So what they're paying me, I'm doing it. I'm fucking doing it, right? And it led to the confident individual that you listen to. But that led to a lot of the work. It led to the first book that I wrote. All right. So next thing, before we're going to try to cut this out, we're going to close you guys out too. Let me just get through all 5 points. So next thing, learn to say no. Again, one that was very, very challenging for me to learn. All right. It's not easy what I'm explaining to you, but learning to say no is not an easy thing to do when you have such a growth-oriented mindset. When you have a career-oriented mindset, people are attracted to you and they want to offer whatever services that they have to you. That's the tricky part. When you have that, people are eager to work with you. They're eager to have conversations with you. They're eager to get something from you because your mindset is an asset to them, or can be an asset to them, if they are like the first to you, the first one to listen to you, the first one to get to you. That's what it's all about. All right. So learning to say no is not easy when you are the person that's always trying to figure out ways to reinvest in themselves. All right. So this right here is what inspired this entire week's theme. Right here, learning to say no, because I was in conversations with 2 financial organizations that kind of pride themselves to bring on clients or bring on people who are like me, who have the mindset of, hey, I got a little more cash now, I'm a little more flexible in terms of what I can do financially. I want to put that money into the right place. There are organizations that can help you with that. There are organizations that'll take your money and say, look, this is going somewhere where you're not even allowed to touch it. I didn't even let you see. There's people who know you, who like there's money men, the folks that make millions and millions of dollars. There are folks out there who they hire and they put in place to say, I'm taking this amount every month, and you ain't even allowed to see that shit. That shit's going into some investments, that's going into property, that's going into real estate, that's going into something that's just gonna grow. So give it to me now. So there are organizations that do that. So I was in a conversation with one of them, or one of them this past week, and I was, following up and things like that. So this right here is what inspired this week's thing. Let me read it directly before you go. So recently, I had some in-depth combos with a great rep over at Northwestern Mutual. So Northwestern Mutual is actually the organization that I'm referring to, all right? So, but as I reflected and as I was thinking about, so it's Northwestern Mutual, I'm thinking about, I'm like, you know what? I've had this conversation before, and I know I'm already doing something similar. Let me reach back out to a different organization that I've already got some of my money kind of tied, not a lot, but some of my money is already tied into it, right? So as I reflected, I realized I already had an existing investments going on with Primerica. So Primerica, I do investments with Primerica currently, right? So I had to make a tough call. I told Northwestern Mutual no, at least for now, not because I didn't value what they're offering, but because I needed to stay loyal to the investments I already committed to. It's not easy, but as the head of a growing business, you've got to make decisions that reflect your long-term mission and not your short-term emotion. That's what had to happen. So I had to come with the mindset of saying, okay, let me reach back out to my Primerica rep, compare and contrast, and then I realized, what, at the moment, and again, there's no strife. Like, I spoke to the Northwestern Mutual rep yesterday, and there was no strife, and there was no contention or anything like that. But it's important that you do make sure you learn how to tell people no, because especially when you're talking about reinvesting in yourself, this is your money now. This is how you live. This is your future. This is your retirement plan. You put food on the table for your family. This is, your life. So you have to learn how to tell certain great reputable organizations no, because of what's already invested, what you already got your money tied into. So learning to say no is absolutely necessary, and I could not. I'm telling you from experience, like directly telling you from experience, I could not do this if I did not have the people around me that are giving me the right advice, that are giving me the right direction, and keeping me laser-like focus on what it is I need to be doing, what it is I said I wanted to be doing, right? You have to have those people around you, because if you leave to your own emotions and your own ambition and your own shit, right, then you will go and make the investments you want to make, right? You will do the things you want to do, which is common. It's human nature. No one's telling you you're wrong about that, but you got to have the people around you that's going to keep you focused and keep you aligned with your shit, all right? So that's number 3. I'm running a long time, so let's get through number 4 and number 5. So number 4, follow up or fall behind. Speaking from experience, folks, all right? This is something that has burnt me over and over and over again. There has been hundreds of people on my platform, hundreds of folks that have blessed the Move Swiftly podcast. Mike, podcast #1 show on innovative teamwork for a reason. It's been going at it for over, going to be 6 years very, very soon here with the Move Swiftly platform, podcast, everything. All the people that have been on the show, it's absolutely unrealistic for me as one person to just follow up with everyone. So the follow-up process literally has to be systematized. Literally has to be a system that is in place for me to, to have it so it's working for me. So this is how you do it. Here it is. All right. So let's keep it real. This one, I aim squarely at myself. I'm talking directly to the problems I have. All right. As a thought leader, I talk a lot about systems, communication, and consistency. But if I'm being honest, my follow-up game has been trash lately, straight up. Again, I do this. I hold myself very incredibly accountable on my own platform. I know when I talk shit about other folks, I have to hold myself accountable just the way I hold other folks accountable for the shit they do, right? So I have a massive network, emails, text, DM, comments. It's all public, basic, and highly active. And that's no excuse for missing people who genuinely want to connect or collaborate. So I'm owning it. I have to do better. And if you're in the same boat, don't brush it off. Fix it. Plain and simple, fix it. Your follow-up system sucks. You have to fix it or figure out ways to accommodate for it. For me personally, I make myself incredibly accessible online, Facebook, Facebook business, LinkedIn, YouTube. These are things I make myself incredibly accessible at, because I know my follow-up game absolutely is trash and I need to work on it. Yet it's a major point of emphasis as we get into the last quarter of 2025. All right, finally, number 5, stay up on current events. So very, very big one too. as thought leaders, we can get, as thought leaders and business owners, we can get so wrapped up in our own situations or in our own day-to-day that we become so blinded by our work, our day-to-day work, that the current events that are going on, they are so important for you to document. It's so important to speak on and give your take on, because it's going to attract more people into your world. So one of the reasons I fall behind on follow-ups is because I'm neck deep in content. All right. So I'm gonna close you out with number 5, right? So one of the reasons I fall behind on follow-ups is because I'm neck deep in content, especially during football season. Here's the truth. Staying current is part of the job when you're building a brand. People aren't just watching games anymore. They're waiting to hear your take. Your perspective is the product. All right. If you stay sharp on what's happening, your audience will keep coming back. And once you have that attention, guess what? Points 1 through 4 get a whole lot easier. In fact, I got a whole breakdown series of college football through my Film Session Saturday platform. And that's pretty much, actually, and then so tomorrow we're going to be talking about Wednesday with Jimmy Johnson, and pretty much again, just kind of reiterating things here. So I'll try to cut myself off in 35 minutes, but I'll explain to you on that final point of staying up on current events. Everything has their season. Again, me personally, as a football guy, as a guy that reports the game and talks about the game in a way that's going to be beneficial to a business owner, I have to make sure I'm staying up and I'm watching these games. But hey, whether it's political news, again, I'll go to a Brandon Tatum or an Anton Daniels to get his perspective. It's mindset, leadership, and maybe some current events. Again, Trey Baldwin, he does this stuff every single day. I'll go to him to hear what that person thinks about certain things. If it's anything, ESPN wise, I love listening to Rich Eisen, and someone that works Sports Center, went and built his own platform, and now he's back on ESPN. All the things, again, and this is advice. I'm not talking at you. I'm talking to you directly in this one. Is when you can put your focus on one thing and allow yourself to stay current within that one thing, within that lane, then that's half the battle. That's something that's absolutely important. And it takes you getting out there. It takes you putting yourself out there to figure out what that thing is. So final, as just a recap here, breaking down the top 5 ways to invest in you. Number 1, you got to know your end game. Number 2, establish a regular income. Number 3, learn to say no. Number 4, follow up or fall behind. And number 5, stay up on current events. As always, main website to check out to dive deeper into all the work I do and all the things I'm about. MakeYourMove.com. That is MakeYourMove.com. One-stop shop for all your teamwork and your self-development needs. As one Crookshank, the one and only Move Swiftly speaker. Check it out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.